I never actually understood what gambling is. I remember when I started gambling, I was like, that's the only way to make money, because I was at work. I had colleagues, and then they were playing numbers. They were betting on numbers, and I remember one of them won around 7,000. And I asked myself, how do you make so much money from just using 5 rands? What happened next was me being an addict, because from there I became an addicted gambler. I went too deep. Um, Gambling is something that you can take lightly and think like, I'm only gonna bet once and come out. But that's not always the option. That's not always the case. Because what happened next was me going to try numbers, betting 2 months without winning numbers. I remember after I had a break, when it was a break at work, I would go to the Hollywood Best branch and then go there, bet numbers, come back. I would look at the numbers and be like, no, yesterday they came out with 17 and 19. How about today coming up with the bigger numbers like 32, 33? That was the mentality that I had. And then each time you try and do that, you try to outsmart them. They would take one number from you and then come up with another number that is next to the one that you have. So you'd be like one short of having maybe 5,000, 10,000, 200, whatever. And the more you just come up with one number short, is the more it comes to your head and you feel like, I'm definitely gonna win. I'm definitely gonna get this. That's when the problem started, because I had to go around and try. I had to dream. If I dreamt about something, the next morning I'll have to write it down and check on the whole wood based dreams and be like, what does this number mean? Whatever number I get, I bet it. And then you'd be lucky to get those numbers, because some people do. If you win, that's the best thing ever. I remember my first win was, I used 5 rands. It was on, I think, two numbers. And then I won 200 and something. I was so excited. It was like I won a lot of money. So what I did with that money was, I took the money and went and bought lunch and just enjoyed that money that I had. And then I had to go back and gamble again. But it started, when it started hitting big, it was when I started saying, numbers don't pay. Maybe I should try football. And I started trying football. Betting every month, every day, every weekend, every hour. I'd be busy compiling these teams and thinking about, if Chelsea is better than Liverpool, I think this time this many goals will be scored. This time Chelsea is gonna win. Things like that. You look at the odds, they give you a different odds. Chelsea would have like 0.50, and then Liverpool would be having 3.55. You are like, there's no way that Liverpool can beat Chelsea when odds are like this. And then what happens next? Liverpool wins, and then your betting was on Chelsea. That's when you start to realize that I can make better money by trying to look at the team instead of the odds. 9 out of 10, you'll never win. You'll just always be like, I need to win, but never won. So from there, I had to introduce myself. No one introduced me. I remember trying out the Evolution games when they came out. It was around 2019. The start of 2019, I tried Evolution games. I won so much money through Evolution games. I remember I made so much money than I've ever made on football. Those times I would win 10,000 in a week. And the thing is that I didn't even know how my money would disappear, because I would win 10,000 today. 3 days later, you are just left with 3,000. If you look at it, most of it went back to the to Hollywood bets, if not Hollywood bets, Sporting Bet, and all these other gambling sites. And my biggest problem was that each time I'm gambling, I'll just go and just click and deposit through the bank. instead of going there and buy a voucher. Maybe if I use 100 rand, I would never deposit again, because it would mean that if it's in the middle of the night, I have to wake up and go to those shops. They're probably closed. So I would use this online deposit. The Capitec one is actually the simplest one, because you just have to click 3 times. There's no any protection or anything security like that. You just have to deposit, and next thing you have your deposit. That was the biggest problem for me, because I'll take my statement and look at it and I'm like, I got paid this much, but it looks like I spent half of it before even a week passed, and you haven't even paid the bills yet. But when you look, you are spending more money than you ever had. And it went in and went in. There's a game called Crazy Time on Evolution Game. I think they are right to call it Crazy Time because it's so crazy. You win 100,000 using 20 rands on one segment. And you lose 2,000 in 30 minutes by being greedy. Because if I bet each segment with 20 rands and then I win big, I'll start betting each segment with 100 rands. That's when you lose everything you had. And to be honest, I remember telling myself that, you know what, if I'm gonna lose this much, I'd rather stop. I stopped for about 5 months. I said I don't wanna hear anything about gambling. I went out of it. I never wanted to see it again. Each time someone talks about it, I would leave and say, I don't want to hear about that anymore. And then it hit me. After 5 months, I needed money so bad. And my only solution was, if I go back and try and gamble again, I'd probably make money. I remember depositing 1,000. Luckily, that 1,000 turned into 5,000. I was like, I'm back. My luck is back. I kept gambling until I gambled everything I had. Like, I had 0 in my bank. That time is the 15th of the month. You're only getting paid on the 30th. I gambled everything I had. What happens next? You gotta run to the bank and ask for money. Now you're piling debts on top of debts. Now you don't have anything on your name, and you are busy adding more. You're adding any more salt to your name. These things don't even care. It's like they would be spinning a wheel. You are looking at them, swearing at them and saying all these things. Nobody cares about you. They're busy telling you gamble only with the money you can afford to lose. As if it's easy for people to do that. It's definitely not easy, because the more you gamble, the more addicted you get. You keep gambling, you're winning half. You keep gambling, they take it all and take everything you have. You go and get it somewhere, borrow the money somewhere. You keep gambling, you keep losing this thing. And that's what I never understood about it, because when I finally decided, you know what, I'm not going to take it anymore, it was when I lost about, I think, 12,000 in a day. I was like, whoa, I'm so deep in this. How do you lose so much money that you can make and change everything about you, change your world just like that? You can change everything, all your problems with 12,000. But here you are, you lost it just in one day. We're not talking about 100 days or something like that. In one day, you lost so much. That's when I told myself, you know what? It's over. You leave gambling. You don't think about it. I call everyone. I called Betway. I was like, hello, please can you close my account? They say, is there something wrong? I'm like, no, I'm addicted. I wasn't even hiding it. I'm addicted. I can't take it no more. Close it. Called Hollywood Bet. Please close my account. Sporting Bet closed my account. World Sports Betting closed my account. Super Bet closed my account. I'm talking about all the accounts that I had, because whenever they would be talking about a different betting account, I'd be like, let me try it. Maybe it has more luck than the other one. Next thing, you have all 37 of them. And then all of them are taking a share in your life. You look back at your life, you're like, I would have been far if I didn't do something like this. I would have been far if I didn't start and gamble. And indeed, you'd make more money if you never gamble. The winners in gambling are the people who don't gamble, who know nothing about it, who don't want to know anything about it. There's a saying that says, winners know when to quit. That's a lie, even on Lotto. There's no way that you know when to quit. You never. The more you start winning, that's the more addicted you get. So, people who don't know how to gamble are the luckiest, because you'll never even be addicted to something that you know nothing about. But the winners are the ones we feel sorry for, because they will keep gambling forever and ever. I mean, I'm a year old from betting. I quit in, when was it? The start of 2021. I was like, oh my God, there is Corona. That means I have to leave it. I don't have to gamble anymore. So since 2021 came and passed, I never even touched any gambling site. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. But my fear was the fact that you go on Twitter, that you find every week, every day, people are talking about which team has to win, which team they bet on, and which team is losing or trailing at the moment. That's when you realize that it's bigger than me. It's bigger than most people, because everyone is just invested in gambling because the high unemployment rate. People are trying to get money and make a living from it. But you can never make a living from gambling. I mean, take it from me. If I could be so deep into it and still come out and say, I'm done. I mean, like, it's gonna take you like forever to recover everything that you have lost. All your debts, everything that you owe, whatever you sold. It's gonna take you forever to get them back. But the win that you'd be having is the fact that you're no longer part of the gambling scheme. And that's when you know that you have actually won, instead of just being yourself, clinging yourself to gambling, hoping that, what if today I win? You go online and you're like, let me check how my team are doing. They call it red carpet because you'll be seeing everything red, which means you've lost. But my message would be like, to everyone who's into gambling, would be, if you are busy with it and you can come out of it, just try by all means. Start by calling these sites and saying, please cancel or block me from gambling. Don't block me for a limited time. Block me forever. Even if I call you and say, can you open my account? I've healed from the addiction. Do not allow me. As soon as you do that, you give yourself a peace of mind. It's going to be hard the first months that you want to gamble, but you can't. It's going to be hard, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing that you'll be having is the fact that you are not gambling anymore. You have rescued yourself from the trauma that you were going through, the hardship that you were going through, the financial distress. You'd be out of them. As much as you'd be struggling to recover whatever you lost, you'd be a happy person, because you are no longer donating into that gambling site. And it keeps coming into South Africa, because they keep coming from outside, bringing them into South Africa and saying, hey, actually look at this. It's different from what you had. So for anyone, all the people that are busy and trying to go out, the best thing is to start now. Just call them, cancel yourself. Declare yourself bankrupt. Just tell them you don't want to do this anymore. They must just block you. That's when you will understand that you are actually living a better life. But what about the financial losses that you had? You'll never get them back. But at least you have your life together. Thank you for watching, guys. This was me telling you about one of the problems that I went through, because I realized South Africa is in a mess in terms of gambling, and the online one is just taking the cake. Thank you for watching, guys, and until next time.